Tomorrow I'd like to go fishing. I haven't been out of the house. It's been my own prison for the better part of 2 years now. I feel guilty, ashamed. All the feelings are hyperactive. And I'm not going to point everything at the golf, but it certainly was a factor in my life. And it's a factor in a lot of people's lives. That's why I'm recording these thoughts. I usually write them down, but with social media, I'd like to expand that to where someone else can read it. For instance, my journal from basic training, I wrote down everything I did every single day. And no one's seen it. No one has seen it but me. Not one person I've ever been with, ever. So this is an attempt to convey my feelings about what I went through in a social media style. The Gulf War in '91 was, in my feelings, I felt like a mercenary for King Fahd, to be honest. Not that I don't care about the Kuwaiti people, but it was not my task to support the Kuwaiti people. It was my task to support northern Germany, but I volunteered to go because at the time, I would not sit on my post while my brothers and sisters went to a foreign country. So I ended up, the very first night there, we lost an 18-year-old girl who slept on her gas mask. Soldiers don't carry pillows. We use field jackets and gas masks for pillows. And the atropine needles were real this time, not just the dummies that we trained with. Went through her neck and she never woke up. So my very first night there, we had our first loss. And I barely got to know that little girl. She was my wife's best friend. My wife was also over there with me. She was a specialist in communications, like I was. But the feelings of that first loss, it set my whole experience in the Gulf off. Then you're just watching your back, making sure nobody you know gets hurt. You're watching each other's backs. It was a constant vigilance, and I will get into driving through minefields later. That is a serious vigilance. But for those people that don't know about post-traumatic stress disorder and how crippling it can be, that's what I'm trying to convey with the videos, that it can be crippling. It can totally disable people, their social life, their functionality, their family life. And I was just awakened to it within the last few months. Before that, I was just diagnosed with acute anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. But now I've gone to the Veterans Administration and spoke to people that actually know what we went through. I was actually clinically diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. How did I take that? Poorly. Within a week, I got my only drunk driving ticket. I was angry. I was depressed. I abused alcohol. Now I'm in the justice system. 48 years old. I knew better, but something triggered me to move a person's car because they wouldn't move it, and I put my truck in 4 low and I moved it for them, and they didn't even say thank you. After I did not say anything derogatory, and they about crawled in my car and killed me. But going back to post-traumatic stress disorder, you won't recognize it. If your friend, family member has it, they hide it. That's what I did for years. You just put on a face and you roll through life. Inside, you're like the rain. Inside, you just want it all to quit. The memories. I can't get into the memories on social media and some of the things that I see, so I will stick to a generalization of just attempted genocide, atrocities, and friendly fire, accidental mishaps. But yeah, it's really hard to talk about. I'm going in for a survey at my VA that's near my home, and what I want to do basically is point out to not only the combat veterans that went through distress during the war or wars, also their family members, so they can recognize exactly what's going on. That person wasn't the person that went overseas. A lot of us came home. A lot of us didn't come home physically impaired, but mentally impaired. And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank God I didn't lose a limb. I've seen a lot of that. But it's the factor I'm talking about, the mental factor, that people don't recognize. What certain people live with in their heads. That's what basically I'm talking about. And I didn't even realize I was doing certain things until I was diagnosed several weeks ago. I was just considered bane to society, black sheep. Now I feel I can have a purpose if I can help anybody, just one family, one person. I would feel that my actions over the last 20 plus years would be redeemed in some way and I would never use my status as a veteran crutch or a reason for my actions. But I do know that there is something in there that caused me to look at people a lot differently and look at things a lot differently. So I know this is some deep thought, and I will try to keep it generalized and short. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, so bear with. This is Thoughts from a Soldier's Name. Rob Lowe, out.